Hello everybody. I am so glad that I am here with you. You have no idea how terrified I was that this was not going to work tonight. So I am very thankful to be able to be on here and be able to see everything is working. So yeah, that was a little bit stressful for me Wednesday evening when it wouldn't go through. So I'm glad it's all working now and that you can see me. Well, it's working on Facebook. There we go. Now it's going on YouTube. There we go. Had a little bit of a delay on YouTube. Facebook is on and running, and YouTube is a little bit delayed from where I am at. So I'm here. Let me know you can hear me, because with all the technical issues that I've had, I want to make sure that everything is working. So just put a comment in there saying we can hear you. I know you can hear the music, but can you hear me? That's the big thing. That's the big thing. Hi Donna, how are you? Hi Ruby, hi Truth, hi Charlene, Veronica. I'm so glad you guys could make it. Y'all can hear me, right? Just making sure. Just making sure. Okay. Let me flip over here. Whew. Okay, so I wanted to come on early, mostly to make sure that I was going to be working. Oh my gosh. And I thought I'd just visit with you for just a few minutes while everybody gets that notification. Thank you, Donna, for letting me know you can hear me. Thank you, Veronica. I appreciate that. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit before we got going on this design. I'm so excited to finally be able to paint this with you. I think he's a cute little marshmallow guy, and he's going to be fun. So I think I will go ahead and put myself up in the corner so I can show you a couple of things before we get started. Oh my gosh, because we still got a few minutes to start. Now, I don't know if you all have seen, I posted this video. This is that Dollar Tree stocking that I painted up. Their stockings already have their line drawing on it, so I think this turned out so cute. I just absolutely love it. So if you've got grandkids that you need a stocking for, a quick stocking, or you've got a neighbor kid that you want to do something special for, this is a cute. I still got my cardboard in there so I could have it a little firm to show you, but I think it turned out so cute. And look at the blingity bling bling on that. I hope you guys have been able to watch the video for this, because it's a fast little project to paint up, and it really was a lot of fun. I enjoyed painting it mostly because the pattern was already on there. So check that out on my YouTube channel if you haven't checked it out yet. And how are you all doing? How's your weather? How's your weather where you're at? We are a little brisk here today. A little cold, a little windy. But we've had some really nice warm days lately. So, close to 65 degrees, which for me is warm. But, warm for this time of year. So I think we're going to settle into some winter temperatures here over Christmas. And, yeah. Hope you guys are all ready for Christmas. Got all your Christmas shopping done? All your gift wrapping done? We got all our gift wrapping done. So Wednesday, when I couldn't go live, was a very crazy day for me. I had my husband was finishing wrapping just a few presents, and then he went outside to sharpen some of my kitchen knives, and I look out my door here and he's standing there bleeding all over himself. So he cut his thumb right across this knuckle when he was sharpening one of my knives, and so I had to take him to urgent care because we couldn't get it to stop bleeding, and he had to get 4 stitches in there. And then I get home and I'm getting everything ready for my live, and then nothing works when I go on my live. So it was kind of a wild, emotional, stressful day. So Cold and a little snow in Michigan. Once you added the shading and highlights, it came alive on the stocking. Yes, absolutely. I mean, you could definitely go with it, just keeping it just your basic colors if you're in a hurry. But yeah, adding the shading and stuff on there really, really helped. So, all right, I'm going to show you just before we get started here, 3 ways that I painted this design. Now, it's all the same size pattern, the pattern that comes in the packet, which you can get at lonnalamb.com. It's all this exact same size right here. So on this one, I painted it on a little 5x5 just wood piece that I had. My background is a mixture of, I think the bright blue that's in the listing, and just a tiny bit of that with some white, and then this I just added more white to the brush and painted it white down here. But I painted the cup the red color. The only thing I added to this one, if you want to do a red cup, is I used some Neon's Sizzling Pink. After I put my first coat of red on, I put Sizzling Pink on this side of the cup and just continued on with just the red. So that's how I painted my red cup on this one, and added pine needles on this one instead of the holly like we're going to be painting tonight. And in my background, my bokeh effect, I just used, I think oyster beige and white are the only 2 colors that I used back there for that. So it gave it a completely different look. Everything else is done just exactly the same as the packet. Colors I used down here are the same colors I used for the holly leaves, and I think the red turned out really, really cute. Oh, thank you, Ruby. I'm glad he's okay too. It's not the first time he's cut his finger and had to get stitches. As a matter of fact, while we were sitting in the emergency room, waiting for the doctor to come in and everything, we were both trying to figure out which finger he had cut like maybe a year and a half ago. He had been to the emergency room to get stitches. I'm thinking it was only about a year ago. And we couldn't even remember which finger he had cut and gotten stitches in. And that's terrible. Pat, it's cold and snowing in Maine. Oh, man. You guys can keep all the snow. Although we would like a little bit here, I just don't want a lot. I'm just not a fan of the snow, but I think it's great for the kids to have fun in the snow. So, we could have it for a few days, and then I'm ready for it to be gone. Truth. Sorry to hear that. I nearly cut my finger off and had to have surgery. Ooh, yes. Yeah, I get that, because my husband also cut one of his fingers off many years ago trying to make one of his saws safer, ironically, and ended up cutting a finger off. But he packed it in ice immediately, and they were able to reattach it, so that was good. I always worry about him with things like that because he's a type 1 diabetic, and you just never know, how his body's going to react, but he's always been lucky that way to have his body be able to heal and not to have issues with stuff. Okay, back to the little marshmallow guy. So there's the red one that I did. This is the green one. This is actually the very first one that I did with green. And it's got just a dark blue color. I really do not remember what color blue I used back here. Maybe a midnight blue and white mix. I'm just not really sure. So if you like this bluer color back here, I would recommend taking some midnight blue or deep midnight blue, mixing some white in with it. And every time I do the lower part, I just remove the excess paint and pick up white and paint down here. On all 3 of them, they're done that way. So, it's just a different color cup here. And then this is the one we're going to do tonight. It's got a dark background. Love the dark background with the white border around it. This is a 5x7. This one is a 5x7, and this one is the 5x5 wood piece. So, yeah, it's you can paint it on different sizes. The size I'm painting on tonight is actually even bigger. It's a 6x8. So, you can put it on any size you want. So we're going to be doing this design here. Now, if you bought my packet, I noticed that in the instructions talking about the background, I didn't add the green in my listing of colors that I put back here, but I did add my green that I used down here. I think it's leaf green. Yeah, leaf green. So, you know, you can add that color in the background as well. I'd forgotten that I added that in when I was doing my instructions, so I don't know which color is your guys' favorite. You know, you can mix it up and just do any color that you want. I've got mine on a 6x8 right here. Let me wide angle out just a little bit so we can see what I'm going to be doing first. Put my line drawing over to the side. Now I have already, this is just a canvas panel, so it was already white, but I did apply a base of white paint on here, okay? For me, that just, canvas panels, they don't have high quality stuff on them, you know? So I don't want to take a chance of, you know, my paint not doing well on it. So for me, I always apply a coat of white paint. That's optional for you guys, whatever you want to do. Even when I'm doing a wood surface like this, I don't like to go directly to the wood with my paint unless I'm painting something really dark on it. You know, I put my multi-purpose sealer on there and then I apply at least one coat of white paint. And so that's just what I do. You know, you do you. I'm just giving you the tips that I do. All right, so I've got some washi tape on here. And that's what I also put on this to make the border on this one. It was just some washi tape. My washi tape is very sticky. It's just a random brand. I don't even know what brand it is, but it was kind of sticky. So I did touch it to my clothes before I applied it to here, just so that it would come off easier. I didn't do that with my other one. I had a little difficulty getting the tape off. I thought, my gosh, this is so sticky for washi tape. Usually it's not that sticky. So the first thing that we're going to do is, I've got my line drawing on here already, just the basic cup. And I want to apply a coat of, let me get a paper plate out here, a coat of white paint on here, just with a damp sponge. Now that's going to do two things. It's going to seal the edge of my tape, and it's going to set my line drawing into my surface, so that, you know, I have to paint over it to cover the lines, obviously, but I don't have to worry about, especially if I drew any lines on with a pencil, them smearing or doing anything weird. So I'm just going to put some white paint out. Oh, thank you so much, Truth, for sharing it. And yes, thank you so much for telling everyone to like and share, especially if you're on my YouTube channel. Be sure and do that. Okay, so I don't have very much white paint out. It doesn't take a lot. And I've got my damp sponge here. So I'm going to wring out the excess water and put it in a paper towel and squeeze out that moisture. I don't, I want it damp so it releases the paint. I don't want it wet so that it thins my paint and causes all other kinds of issues. So I'm just going to paint right over this and set that line drawing right into the surface. And I can see it very clearly, so I know where I'm going. Alright, so I'm just going to drop this back down in here. I'm done with that. I won't need it anymore. And I can move that out of the way. And that out of the way. And I'm going to dry this real quick, and then I'm going to get it up on my easel. So, hello Cheryl. Glad you're here. From Kansas, my home state. Born and raised there. Alright, hello Cindy, hello Marie. Glad you guys are here to join me tonight. This is such a cute design. I had a lot of fun creating him, and All right, let me get him up on the easel. And a couple of stencils that I will be using tonight is my 1/4" stencil and then my buffalo check stencil. If you guys are painters, you probably have plenty of stencils, but if you are not, you don't have those stencils, you can find them at lonnalamb.com. And I'm gonna put some white and some black out, and we're gonna get going on our background. Now, if you're not very good at painting up to your line, and this line could actually be a little bit lower, but I'm not gonna worry about it, then you can tape it off with just some Scotch tape. Just right at that line. Okay, and then we can remove that when we're done. I do like to fold the ends over so it doesn't get caught on my wheel if I need to pick it up. I'm not ripping it off of there. Okay, let's get going. Let me find me a paper towel. All right, I'm gonna get my brush wet. I've got a 12. I could actually go to a bigger brush if I had one handy for this. This is a bigger surface. So what I got here, this is a 1/2 inch. Let me try this 1/2 inch one. It's a little bit bigger than my 12 here. So you can see the difference there. A little bit bigger. Making sure I'm bright enough. For some reason I felt like I was in the dark there. Alright, I'm going to take my white and black and make a dark gray color. And I'm just going to brush mix. I do not care if my background is completely all the same. We're going to be putting all of that bokeh effect in the background. I need it to be a little bit darker. There we go. And I'm going to go around my elements. Hopefully I can remember how to paint. You know, I haven't painted for a few days. Well, I painted that stocking the other day, but that one was easy. And just a quick layer on this background. And, you know, if your paint's very thin, you can do 2 layers. I did have a lot of moisture in my brush, so my paint feels a little thin, but we'll see how it looks here. And if you have any questions while I'm painting in my background, that is a good time to throw some questions out if you have any. Hi Melina, good to have you here. This would be a really adorable design on a Christmas card as well. You could just leave the background white if you wanted to, and then do colored lights behind it with your bokeh effect. I need a little water. Let me spritz my palette over here so I can grab some moisture from my brush. And just go around this little guy right here. Generally I have my backgrounds already done when I start these, but this one I felt like we needed to see how everything was done. I didn't want to do anything ahead of time. So I hope everyone is ready for their Christmas, whatever you're going to be doing. We are ready. We're going to have Christmas with our son and grandkids and his wife on Sunday. So that means Christmas Day, I get to have a jammy day all day long. Love me a good jammy day. Alright, just a dark gray. You know, there's no right or wrong to this color mixing stuff. Now, if you want to do one of the other colors on the backgrounds, you know, you can certainly change your background up. You know, make it a light blue like I did the one with the red cup. And let me get a smaller brush out to do the inside areas. I cleaned all my brushes and I just threw them all in a jar, so I don't know. They're all mixed up, man. I've got a couple little areas inside here that I want to make dark as well. Right here. It doesn't have to be a perfect match. And right here. Okay, I'm going to do that a quick dry so I can make sure it's covered. There's a couple places that look like it doesn't have quite enough paint. Okay. He is going on my hot chocolate bar. Oh, cool. That's a good place to put him. Hello, Helen. Hello, Norman. Norma, sorry, I didn't mean to say Norman. Alright, make sure it's cool before you go with your next layer. And I'm just going to make a little wash of this paint because I don't need heavy paint for the second. I just need to fill in all those places where the paint's a little thin. Get a little more water. And I'm really just covering this with a wash of paint just to make sure that it's covered. And the packet lists all the paints, has a line drawing. It actually has the picture of the green cup and the blue cup. The red cup I did just the other day, so I really wanted to paint it up in another color to show you a different option. Alright, just a wash of that color. Now, when I'm painting this myself, I would pull the tape off, and I probably wouldn't even have tape on it, and go ahead and paint the bottom. But I'm going to dry this. And I might go ahead and pull the tape off. I think I can do the bokeh effect down at the bottom, or at the top, without affecting my bottom here. So make sure you don't lift your other tape if you have it on there. So I'm going to do just a lighter gray here, so I'm just going to fill my brush with white and a little bit of that mix that I've got there. If I was just going straight into this, I would just dirty brush right into, I would wipe the excess paint out and dirty brush right into my white. Because this is just going to be a light gray. And there's no sense in getting another color out. Just mix it on your brush. Oops. And try not to get into your background. That's why you want to tape it off, so you don't get into your background. Go around your cup. And another thing I wanted to point out with this design is that I have my tape, it goes up over my cup a little bit, which is what I really like. I like things to not be totally on the canvas. So I'll bring the red one back in and show you. I really went off the canvas quite a bit with it. Well, mostly because it was a smaller surface, but I could have very easily just filled the whole center of that surface with the line drawing, but I didn't because I really like the interest that it gives when it goes off of the canvas a little bit. You could go to a smaller brush in this area. Okay, that's pretty choppy. I'll have to put a second coat on there. So this one here, the cup is down off of the canvas down here a little bit because the tape comes on it. That's kind of how this is going to be, only not as much. The tape on this one is just going to cover a little bit of the white border is just going to cover a little bit This one I came off quite a bit. I love how that looks. And then this one I came off of the bottom and off of the handle. So, you know, I slid it over this way so some of the handle was off and moved it down so that a good portion of the bottom there was off the canvas. So that's how you can create a little bit more interest in your design here and make it a little bit more fun. Done. I had to jump off and buy the pattern. Great, I appreciate that. Nadine, what brushes are you using? What brand? Oh, I'm using Dynasty brushes. This one is black gold and the other one is black silver. I like them both. I sell black silver on my website, so. And I sell mostly the sizes that I like to use the most. Alright, again, I'm just doing another little wash of color down here. It really doesn't have to be perfect. A little streaky is always better down here, so I might pick up a little bit more of that dark color and just kind of very messily put it in there. We're going to shade around this cup, and I do want to make sure I have color all the way to my tape though. But choppy is good for this lower part. Gives it a little bit more interest. And we'll leave the tape on probably until we are done. It's always fun to do that finish at the end there. That's really dark in there, so let me lighten that just a little bit. And then go out here. Hopefully I've still got my table line straight. Okay, I think that looks pretty good for that. Get all the paint out of my brush there. And I'll probably use that brush to paint in my cup. Make sure that one's rinsed. Let's get this a little dry, and then we're going to add our bokeh effect in the back. Now, when we do the bokeh effect, Melina just fixed a cup of hot chocolate. That's awesome. I should have thought of doing that, but mine would have been cold by the time I got done here. Okay, make sure it's cool. You don't want to go to your surface once you've dried it while it's hot. That will immediately set your paint and dry it. And if it's something that you want to remove or work with and move it around a little bit, you can't do that. It's just done. So the other way that you can, I want to tell you the other way that you could do the background if you don't want to do stencil, or you don't have a stencil. You just need some kind of small little scruffy brush. You could even use your finger and make little dots with your finger, blur them out a little bit, a little scruffy brush, even a small little stencil brush like this. You could make some small ones in here. Don't feel like you have to have a stencil, but the stencil is the look that I like. I like this more precise circle. I have done it in the past with just a brush and kind of blurring it out, and that looks great too. So I say play around with this technique and do something that you that really appeals to you and what you like to do. So let's get our paints out. So I've got white. I'm going to be using that, and we're going to do our oyster beige and I don't think I had cocoa. Let me look and see what I say for my background. Oh, I do list cocoa. Okay, well, I'll put a little bit in there. I don't think I put very many of this color in there. I think I actually mixed it. I can't even get it out of the bottle. The bottle's so old. I mean, that's an old label on there. I've had that bottle a while. Okay, then we did a few green, which I may have mixed some white with. I don't know, because I didn't put that in my instruction. And my turquoise color. So we're going to get the background on. Okay, now you can have multiple brushes for these colors, which I have, you know, a few brushes. I definitely want to have one just for white, but if I end up using these for all the colors, then I'm just going to grab a little piece of a makeup wedge. I cut them down to various sizes, and I'm going to use this to apply my last layer of white, because I like to have white as my brightest layer on here. So we're going to start with our cocoa and our kind of oyster beige color. And I tap on my paper towel, dry place. I'm just going to throw a dry paper towel over here to do that. And then I'm just going to start tapping these in. And I could tell I used up quite a bit of paint, so now I can do the little rubbing stuff on here. And those aren't too dark, so let's get a little bit, I want to get those a little bit darker. See if I can line my stencil up where it was at. And make some of these a little bit more color on them. Push them into the background. And we're going to go on each side of the cup here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's do a few over here. I'm probably not going to do as many on this side. This is that mix right here. I did a bokeh painting and everyone loved it. I told them to check you out. I'm so addicted to bokeh. Me too. I am so addicted to it as well. I would do it on everything if I could. I don't know, people might get tired of seeing it though. So now I'm going to clean that paint out and just go into the oyster beige and do some of those. And this time I'm going to start moving my stencil around so that it's not too repetitive. You know, you can lift it up. You can tape your stencil down if you want to. But when it's, you know, just this kind of stenciling, I don't generally tape it down because I like to move it around a lot. I also like to overlap and give more interest to my background. So I will start being a little bit more, pick it up, I want one here, pick it up, I want one there, and be sure to overlap your little dots on here. Even if you're doing it a different way without a stencil, be sure to overlap because that is going to give you the best looking effect in the background. Get some more of that beige color. And you know, I like some to go behind my cup. So right now if it goes over the cup, that's not a big deal because that edge of the cup is going to be black. So you know, you don't have to be too stressed out about if you get some on the cup. Okay, let's put one over here, and now I'm going to go add a few blue ones and green ones. So I'm going to start with just my blue here. I'm going to save that one for my white, I think. I'm going to start with my blue because then I can clean it out and just go into my green. I want white to be my last color that I do. think I'll add a tiny bit of white in there because that's going to make it a little more opaque, I think. And these are going to be a little bit more random. Just, you know, if you go over one you already put in there, you know, or you don't like one, definitely put, you know, another one on top of it. This background is very addictive, and sometimes you have to think, I think it's time to stop. There's probably enough in there. That can be the hard part. Like, I think I need to stop. Somebody make me stop. You know, stand back and look at it. Remember, you still got white to put in here. And white will be our... You could do oyster beige and white, which I might do that mix because I haven't done that mix yet. And do it just a few of those and then finish off with white. Okay, so I'm going to clean this brush out and do... Ooh, fling that clear across. And do just a few green ones with some white. And I didn't do very many of these. I just felt like it carried the green around the background a little bit. Okay, just put a few here and there of the green ones. You know, as you look at it, see, you know, where do I want some more? And my light colors are going to be the ones that I put the most in here of. Okay, I think that's pretty good for green. I'll rinse these brushes out here in a minute. Well, I did want to do a little bit of white and a little bit of beige, just to start getting those lighter ones in here. So see how that's bringing that bokeh effect to life? Woo, love it. Make sure you go, you know, up here and out here to your tape. That's going to give it that more finished look. This is a mix of white and oyster beige here. Okay. Is there a reason you don't go to the edge on the right? That's just the look that I was kind of going for, to make it look like maybe the lights were fading off this way. You could certainly do the whole background. On this one, I did a lot less on this side than I did on this side. And I kept them more up in the corner. So it's really, you know, whatever appeals to you. I mean, it's whichever way you go with it is not going to be wrong, and it's going to look great. So I'm going to put a few of these light ones over here. So, you know, just do what feels right to you. And it does help if you lift the stencil off and look at it every now and then, so you can kind of see where you're going with the flow of your colors and the whole feel of the background. Okay. I think up here there's kind of an empty spot there. All right, I'm going to go to a different brush because I want to do white just on the brush by itself. So that's why I say you can have multiple brushes, or just try and clean out whatever brush you got. Use a makeup sponge, whatever you have. All right, let's add some white ones in here to finish off this background. They're going to be the ones that stand more forward, and these are the ones that I think really makes the background pop a lot. And I love putting this final layer of just white on here. I think it is just gorgeous. Overlap, overlap, overlap. I can't stress that enough. Overlapping is really important. If you see a place where your stencil laid down some paint and left a little stencil weird thing, just stencil over it. Okay, that's looking really cute. Let's get a few more in here. One needs to be here. And you can leave gaps in between this stuff, you know, whatever you like. You know, leave some empty spaces if that kind of thing you like the best. Let's put one of these close to him. He needs some stuff that's closer. You know, it's not all so far away. All right, I think that looks pretty good for the background. So we're done with the stencil, and we're done with these stencil brushes. I am going to need a stencil brush just for black when we do the cup. So I've got another stencil brush for that. One of the tips I want to tell you about cleaning stencils, I'm sure you get tips from all your teachers, but I like to tell you what works best for me. I take my stencil to my sink and I squirt hand sanitizer on it and I just rub it all over the stencil and I let it set 15 or 20 seconds. I take my dirty stencil brush before I even put water in it and I clean my stencil and my brush at the same time. If you've used your stencil brush for a long time and it's got a lot of buildup of paint in it and it's just not coming out, I get a small little glass cup and I put some rubbing alcohol in it just to cover the bristles, maybe halfway, and I soak it in there overnight. Completely takes every bit of paint out of it, and you're back to a nice white stencil brush. So that's my tip for cleaning stencils. I think it's very helpful to know how, you know, everyone does their stencils. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is start painting in all of our areas here. And I'm going to start by painting in the cup so that it can dry while we are painting the little marshmallow man, because the cup will take a couple of coats. And these are the two colors I'm going to be using, my turquoise and bright blue. And the handle will be black. So I'm going to put my turquoise on this side of the cup. And I'm just going to go right up to that line. We don't have to worry about the black line that we're going to put on there. We'll just paint that in. It doesn't have to be drawn in. We know it's on the edge of the cup, so. Okay, I'm going to wipe my brush off and go right into that bright blue and just continue on. Kind of blend them where they meet. Bring them together, make them happy. This is the first layer, so don't really be concerned about how the first layer looks. Now you could make this a rusty old cup and make it kind of a off-white color or white color and put some rust areas on it. But that will really change the feel of the painting here. So I thought about doing that and then changed my mind, decided that's not the feel I'm going for. You could do this in fall colors for fall time. The peppermint doesn't have to be red, it could be green. If you want to do a fall one, put some leaves around it, that would be super cute. Alright, that's going to have a second coat. So while it is drying, let's start painting in up here. So our oyster beige we already have out. Let me grab a smaller brush. Any questions? It was recently discussed at a painting event that Deco Art dropped the Indian off Indian turquoise. Yes, they did. They have, it is called, I think it's just called turquoise. And then this one is turquoise blue. It's a little bit darker than the Indian turquoise, or the formerly known as Indian turquoise. Yes, they dropped that off last year, I think. Took that name off. So it's just turquoise, but you gotta watch the numbers if you're ordering it, because this is 268. This is a darker blue than the formerly known as Indian turquoise. Okay, where am I? Okay, I'm gonna mix oyster beige and white here. Hopefully I won't get into my black paint. Maybe I should come over here and mix it. Might be a good idea. Just an equal mix, doesn't have to be perfect, you know. On the red cup, did you put the neon where the turquoise is on the cup you're doing now? Yes, I did. I did apply a thin layer of the red over the whole cup first. And then when I did it the second time, that's when I put the neon over here on this side. So it's a little bit lighter red. I mean, it's not a drastic change, but it's enough. You kind of get the idea of it's a little bit brighter. And that's not necessary. You don't have to do that. That's just an option, a step that I added. I thought it would kind of perk up that red on that side, make it a little bit brighter, since that was going to be the highlight side of the cup. Alright, let's shape this guy's head. I kind of got it unshaped there with the background. I'm going to go right over the buttons because, you know, buttons are buttons. We don't necessarily have to have that little detail. This is oyster beige and white. I think I could have added a little bit more white into that mix. It's a little bit darker than what I wanted it to be, but it will be fine. Okay. And then the peppermint is going to be this same color. Just paint it in, you know, reshape it if you need to. Mine's got a little weird shape, so try and fix that just a little bit. Okay. All right, so on the inside of the cup, we're going to do just a wash of some milk chocolate, I believe. That's what I did. So I'm just going to create a little wash of that color. Really washy. And I'm just going to put it down inside the cup. Doesn't have to be perfect here. This is just going to help me establish later when I go to getting stuff in here, you know, where everything is. Let's add some color on the nose with some orange and yellow. And then the top layer is going to be the same layer that same color mix that we painted the actual snowman in with. Or marshmallow man. I'm going to be calling him a snowman all night, but he's a little marshmallow man. And we're just going to put one layer on here because we got some dry brushing to do on this guy, and I don't want to, you know, have to paint this a third time because I'm sure I'm going to get some color on it. But and then we got yellow. And then that mix that we used in the background, or on the marshmallow man, up on the tip here. And I did a little bit more white in there so I could see that. Alright, let's put some color on his arms. You know, first layers always look so rough. It's like, oh, is it ever going to get to a cute little marshmallow guy. It'll get there. Alright. Put his arms in. It's got some skinny little arms. They're kind of pretzel arms, so. Now I can still see all of my line drawing still. So once I start adding layers onto this guy, I may not be able to see as well, but that's kind of why I like to set my, I didn't used to like to do that, set my line drawing into the background, but I really think it helps a lot. Okay. Alright, I think I need another color on my or another layer on this thing here. So I didn't get all the way to the edges. And I want to straighten up this edge right here. And let's make sure we got a good little layer on that guy. Get up to my edges here. I didn't get all the way. Just a quick little one. And I got it all over my cup. Make sure I go around that candy corn nose. I suppose you could give him a gumdrop nose. That would be super cute. Everything gets 2 coats, so his arms are dry. We'll give them a second coat, except for the nose. I'm not going to do the candy corn yet. I'm going to go down and do the second layer on the cup. While that dries up there, so I'll start with my turquoise again. Wipe the excess off and just go into that bright blue because I want to blend these while they're wet. Trying to get right up to that line I drew. Alright, let's just blend those just a little bit. I'm going to wipe my brush off so I can, I'm going to need a little turquoise because I got my blue over a little far. I just want to blend, blend, blend. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Okay, wipe off. I've got that blended nicely, so we'll just go over here and finish out over here. With our second layer of this blue here. Okay, that's a ton of paint there. Just blend, blend, blend. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and get a black coat on the handle. So we'll have all of our layers on and we can start adding details. Okay, that's a lot. Need some moisture in my paint. It's already starting to dry a little bit. Just take your time. A little bit of water in your paint, if it's thick, is always a good idea. You get a little bit more flow. You don't want to add too much that it thins your paint down too much. At least not for your first coat. For your second coat, a little bit more moisture is okay because you're just, like I said, filling in the gaps where it didn't quite cover on the first layer. Okay, I'm going to give that a quick dry. Move those out of the way. because I want to stencil on the cup before we start adding details in here. A buffalo check. I'm going to be using black paint. Now I only got one coat on that handle. I will come back and apply a second coat on there. Alright, cool, cool, cool. We need it cool. Cool, cool, cool. I don't want to heat set my paint. Trust me, I've done that. Did not make me happy. Alright, so put your stencil on there wherever you think you're going to like it. So I think I'm going to try and mimic the one that I've got up there. Sorta. So you can see right here that that's the inside of my cup. I'm going to stencil right up to that, but if that is a concern for you, you can tape off those areas. I'm just going to keep a damp brush handy so that I can clean that up, or I'm going to erase it with my magic eraser here. It's not really a magic eraser, but it's magic to me because I think it's magic what it does. And I do have a video on how I use that, but I'll probably show you how I'm going to use it. Okay, black paint and stencil, stencil, stencil. I'm going to go right up to that edge, right up to that edge. If I get into my outside my cup or in my inside of my cup, I will clean it up. The tape is down here, so I don't have to worry as much down here, but if you just don't give as much pressure or have very much paint when you go out to your edges, you won't leave as much out there. Okay, let's see how this looks. Pretty good. Alright, so you can see, well, down here it's on the tape, but out here it's not, and right there it's not, up there it's not. So really I'm not too concerned up there because we got our marshmallow fluff that we're going to be putting in there. But if it's something that really you don't like, I'm going to show you how I clean it up. I got my tri-eraser here, which I do sell these on my website, so if you need one of these, but any kind of white plastic eraser will work. I dipped it into my water, so it's damp. It's got water on it, so I can go in here and just lightly erase. I am lightly erasing. I know it probably looks like I'm just scrubbing away, but I'm really not putting much pressure on this eraser, because if I do, I'm going to go through the gray all the way through my white to my raw canvas. So doing a light layer is best. Okay, up here I'm not worried about it, but I'll just show you how you can just erase. It has to be damp. You can even dampen it with a damp brush. So one of the best tools that I could show you to use. It's my absolute favorite. Okay, I'm going to start dry brushing on the peppermint and the little snowman guy. I'm going to put some fresh white out because I want to make sure this goes nicely. And I'm using just an old worn out filbert brush. I love this brush. This is also the one I'm going to be using for my fluffy stuff. So if you have a really worn out brush, that's what I'm going to be using for my marshmallow fluff in here. Because, you know, he's melting in there. I don't think he realizes he's melting in the hot cocoa bath. So this one is a size 6, and it's really, really worn out. I use it for a lot of things, and I love it all worn out like it is. So I am going to load it with some white paint and offload a little bit of it there, and I'm going to dry brush. I offloaded a little bit too much. I'm just going to pick this up. First time it's not going to leave a whole lot behind. So get some white, take a little bit of it off. You can use this brush, when I'm doing this, you can do it damp or you can do it with a dry brush. Yeah, totally up to you. If you're going to use it damp, be sure and get as much moisture as you can out of the brush. A damp brush will release the paint a little bit better than a dry brush will. So, you know, it depends on the, technique that you're going for. So I do need to put this on 2 or 3 times on here. Some kind of fuzzy stuff in my. So I'm going to do a quick little dry. There's not a thick layer on there, so it should take just seconds. I'm going to get some of that off. Dry brush down the center of my peppermint. Now you can see it's starting to get some of that lighter color. I'm going to keep the white mostly to the left on our snowman and just kind of rub that in there. Okay, you're seeing him starting to lighten up over there. I want to do that at least one more time. It really depends on your mix that you did initially, on how dark your marshmallow guy is, to how many times you may need to do this. But I want to get my peppermint to start looking more white and get my marshmallows to start looking more white. I'm just doing kind of a scrub rub here. I will be floating on here, so I'm not too worried about it being white right now, because we'll get it there. We'll get it there. Okay, I'm going to wash this brush out because we'll need it later. I'm going to do a quick little second coat on my handle here. Some thin down paint, but I don't need thick paint here. And I'm just using a round brush for this second layer. Okay. Alright, that's pretty wet. I'm going to dry that so I don't lay my hand in it. Making sure I don't have any questions right now. If you've got any questions, just ask them anytime. I'm always looking up to see if there's any questions and answer them. When I get done with this, if I feel like my background needs some brighter white ones on top, I'll go back in and add some brighter white ones on top. So, that's something that you can do. All right, let's get some red out. Let's paint some red on our peppermint stick. Okay, I'm going to use 2 different brushes here. I need a detail liner, and I've got a 2 round. So your stripes can be whatever you want them to be. These, I made a thick one and then 2 thin ones. I'll try to keep it just like this one. This one I did the same, but this one I made kind of wavy lines on this one. So you can do your peppermint stripes however you like. There's no wrong way to do peppermint stripes, I don't think. Do like to follow the shape of the edge though. Okay, there's our first stripe. I'm going to leave room to put a couple of thin stripes in there. And these thicker stripes I will add 2 coats on. When I do the thinner stripes, they're just going to be one coat. Right up to his little body right there. I think I made him a little bit fatter than he was supposed to be, because there should be a little space between him and the peppermint stick. Okay, I'm going to do my thin lines in between. So I'm going to thin some of this with some water. And then I'm going to do a couple of lines up here. And a couple in between. If I get outside of my, that's a really wet brush, outside of my lines, I'm going to clean that up. Okay, those stripes only get one coat, but the thicker ones we'll do a second coat on so we can make them more opaque. Okay, super cute. All right, we can go ahead and put a second coat on the nose now, because all the lightening that we're going to be doing on the marshmallow will be done with floats. So we needed that dry brushing on there to start getting a little bit brighter on our little guy. Let's see, yellow. Go white and a tiny little bit of oyster beige here. Okay, he's got his little candy corn nose going on there. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna get a different brush here. What do you use to seal your paintings, and have you ever used resin to seal them? I've never used resin to seal them. I just seal them with a matte or a flat varnish most of the time, unless it's something that I really want the colors to pop, then I will do a satin. I like mine to look like I've just painted them, so a flat or a matte varnish will do that. But if you want the colors to really pop, I would say use a satin. You could even use a gloss, but just remember that's going to cause a lot of reflections on your painting. So, you know, varnish really comes down to a personal preference and what kind of look that you like your painting to give. So, flat or a matte is what I prefer. Okay, where was I? Okay, white. I'm going to do white on this side of my marshmallow guy. This is going to get it nice and shaped as well, and I'll do this a couple of times, maybe 3. I really want this side of him to be bright. I think on my original one I did it at least 3 times, possibly 4. I don't know. I wanted him to be bright, so not as bright as the foam stuff we're putting in here, but bright. Okay, let that dry. I think we're going to shade on the peppermint. Now, I think in my instructions, let me see what I put in my instructions for the peppermint. I said to mix the red and a little bit of black, but I recorded my original one as I was doing it, and I did not use I did not use black. I used dark chocolate. So black will make it a little bit of a starker shading color, and I want it to be more subtle. So I'm going to mix my red and my dark chocolate. And that's just going to darken up my red just a little bit. And just going to go down each side. I'm going to have to bring my red stripe over a little bit more because I made my peppermint a little wide right there. Okay. Make sure you have moisture in your brush. You're not going to get these soft floats if you don't have moisture in your brush. We're going to go up this side. These are soft floats. Look how that's already bringing that peppermint to life. Okay, we can go down here, but you know, you don't have to be too fussy about that because the marshmallow fluff is going to cover up the bottom of that, but we do want to put a little bit across the top. All right, make sure you round it. Whatever shape you have going there, make sure you shape it. So the peppermint is probably the easiest thing to paint. I absolutely love painting peppermint. And oh, Veronica says I can see him with a chocolate chip nose. Ooh, I like that idea, chocolate chip nose. That is really cute. All right, Veronica, I expect to see yours with a chocolate chip nose on it. All right, let's put a highlight down our peppermint. Okay, it doesn't have to be a solid line. You can split it up. All right, I'm going to go back to my marshmallow dude and give him some more white. I think I'm going to use my bigger brush so I can get a wider float quicker. Okay, that's getting him looking pretty marshmallowy. Super cute. Okay, while he's drying, let's work on his nose. I think, well, let's see what my instructions say. Okay, say dark chocolate. That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. A little bit of shading on the bottom of the nose. I'm using just a 1/4 inch angle brush like I did on the peppermint so I can keep my float more narrow and not, you know, completely fill in the shape that I'm wanting some shading on. Okay, that was just a touch too much. We're going to go along the bottom edge of the orange and then up the side of the whole entire candy corn. And just give it a little shading. I know it looks super dark there, but it's really light. Okay, it's really light just because it's such a contrast to what it's painted. And then we'll put a white highlight down this side. And there's his little candy corn nose. All right, down inside the hot cocoa here, I want to add a washy, choppy layer of dark chocolate. And this is super choppy, choppy, choppy. We're not going to see a lot of this, but some of this, you know, will peek through here and there. So we want to make sure that we can tell he's in a cocoa bath in case some of it ends up showing up. So this is just choppy. It's a wet float. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Choppy, choppy, choppy. Okay, something's not drawn right here. My cup is not drawn right here. Right there. Okay. Alright, it's just choppy. Chop, chop. Just making it a little bit darker down in there. Okay, I really think I might have to go one more time with white. Looking at it in front of me, it looks like it's still too almondy looking. Okay, let's work on his arms. He's coming together so cute. Okay, so his arms, they're so skinny. You don't have to do tons of detail on here. Some oyster beige and some dark chocolate is all you need to try and put like a few little lines in there, or you know, however you want it to look, to kind of, they're just pretzel arms, so you know, they don't have to be too overly done. So I just put a few streaks of, or some big streaks of some dark chocolate in there. And then I put a few of that oyster in there. You could use white, but I felt like oyster was a little more kind of subtle on here. This is all going to fade down in there, so it won't be, you know, you could put little pieces of salt on here, you know, for those salty pretzels. Use your imagination. And then a little bit of dark chocolate right next to the body. And I will probably do one more layer of white, especially right by where the arms are tucking in. Over here we won't do anything because this side will be done. Just a little bit of dark right in there. Okay, may not see that after we put our fluff in there, but you just never know. Alright, I'm going to give him a dry because I want to get his buttons and his eyes and his mouth on there so we can start doing some shading on him. So I did, let's see, I better read what I did with his mouth and everything. When we got a dry brush on the cheeks, we'll do that after we add that. I just used dark chocolate. Okay, so just dark chocolate for the mouth and the eyes. I can still see my line here, although I'm not staying on it very well, but I can still see it. Clean it up. And then his little eyes. He's like just really loving it. Those little chocolate chip buttons, and we may or may not see this one on the bottom once we put our little fluff in. And I'll repeat those buttons here in a minute. Let's start some shading on our little snowman. I probably better dry them buttons in case I go across them. Alright, I am going to do a mix of oyster beige and cocoa. Let's see if this is going to show up. Really depends on how dark your, oh yeah, it's going to show up just fine. Your marshmallow guy started out because I didn't put any highlighting on this side of him. Let's go underneath his chin here. This is still just a thin layer. I'm not using heavy paint for any of my floats here. Just, I'm not getting any cocoa there. It's starting to dry out, so I'm not getting a mix on my brush. Go up this side. Make sure your nose and everything is dry before you start, you know, doing all this. Need a little bit more cocoa in that mix. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of this around the buttons. I do have to put another layer on the buttons. A little bit underneath the mouth, under the eyes, It's just a touch. Just a little shadow. I'll do a little bit by the nose here. It's just a little touch. Maybe I'll zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. Probably should have had you zoomed in for the whole thing. Okay. He's looking super cute. Let me dry him because I want to put some rosy cheeks on him. And a second little layer on the... Okay, so I just took some red and kind of worked it into my brush and then offloaded it onto a dry place. Use whatever brush you have. And then just kind of rub some on there. Try not to have a ton of paint on your brush. That's going to help keep that a little bit more of a subtle rosy cheek. This side needs a little bit more. I should have got my scruffy brush out because I'm destroying my little round brush here. Let's put some more chocolate on his buttons. Get them more solid. Okay. A little bit more float on him. When we do this float, we can start creating a little bit of maybe where the fluff will go on here. We're not going to do the fluff till we finish the cup, but that was cocoa. Cocoa, and a little bit of oyster beige. And just a little darker on that edge and a little bit more underneath his little marshmallow there. Oh, I was going to do show you how to do the, start getting a little bit of, you know, like where do you want to put your fluff at? You know, what shape do you want to go for? So just kind of go over him right there. So you know your fluff's going to come up to that point and go over your peppermint. I mean, it's going to go everywhere, but, you know, that kind of gives you an idea where it's going. All right, so we need the black ring around the top of the cup. So let's get our black. And make that little ring on there. Too much moisture there in my brush. So we're just going to follow the shape of this right up to there. This is where I'm going to keep a damp brush because I already got it on him right there. And this needs to curve a little bit right through here. So clean up that edge and we'll come back and brighten there, I think, too. Now we're going to shape follow here. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be having fluff in here, so. You do want to try and make it the same thickness all the way, so if it's not the same thickness, at least try and get that on there and get some of that off of the arm. Okay, I think I want mine to be just a little bit thicker. So I'm going to give a little bit more pressure to my brush so it can make a fatter line on here. Okay, clean up. Oh, okay, that was full of water. Clean up on my peppermint here. And on his little arm right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now we're ready to shade onto the cup now. To get it done, and we're going to shade with black. I'm going to use a larger brush because I'm going to have to walk my black over, and I want to walk it over a little more than halfway, so you know, and we'll keep this side of it dark and let it slowly and gradually disappear onto that other side. Okay, so now I'm just going to walk it over. I've got lots of water in my brush here. And kind of shape follow here and bring it over. I might have to go just a little bit more. Okay, so that is pretty wet. I'm not worried about if I get out down here. Of course, it's very close to the tape because we will shade underneath this cup. So let me dry that because we have to do that again. I need to touch up my snowman because I got black on him up here. So I'll go ahead and touch him up while that's getting completely dry. Oh my gosh, he is so cute. So cute. Alright, make sure it's dry. Get water on your brush. More. Oh, got water all over my hand there. Goodness. Now we're going to do another layer of this black on here. I don't want my cup to turn black. I still want to be able to see the blue. That's why I'm using a lot of water in my black, so that it does not turn my cup black. I know right there in the camera shot it looks black, but I can still see my blue. So hopefully we can still see the blue when I get done mopping this. It did turn kind of black down here, but that's all right. That looks super dark. A little bit darker than what I would like it to be, even before it dries. So I didn't have enough water in my black. So I'm just going to take a baby wipe and take some of that off right here. Of course, that's black down there because of the... And bring some of that blue back out. Don't worry if you get too much. Baby wipes, man, always have them in your, next to you when you paint, I'm telling you, right next to you. Okay, that looks much better for me. I can see all of the blue there. This is the tape down here, so I'm not worried about that. We're going to shade over here, so I'm not going to worry about that. So that's looking pretty good. Alright, I'm going to add our highlights on our cup. I have to get all the details done down here, and then we'll do our fluff. Okay, so on my cup here, I have like this really long shadow right here, or highlight. So, and I put that on all of them, so I'm just going to freehand draw it, but you know, if you need to put the pattern on, you can certainly do that. So it goes underneath, and I do need to shade underneath the rim there, so it goes like this, and then kind of follows the shape of the cup. And then I just filled it in with white, and I put 2 coats in here, so Shape follow that cup. 2 coats. I really need to shade underneath that lip. Okay. And then we're going to do a line here. I'm up on the tip of the brush, so I'm not giving the brush any pressure. Okay. And then I put a little bit of highlight on the handle, so I'm going to do some white out here. And then I'm going to do like a dark gray float on the handle. We will put a highlight on the rim up here too, but after we do our fluff. So let me get a little gray color. Now if you just want to use white and then just wash over it with some black, you can do that. So I can kind of establish my cup handle. You know, where it connects. And then I'm going to let that dry and probably do a little bit of black wash over that. Alrighty. How are we doing? Any questions? Not seeing any questions. Just ask away if you have them. Okay. Let's do the fluffy fluff. Well, first let me put a little bit more white on that black right there. All right. Okay, so I'm going to be using my my worn out filbert brush. Okay, let me find it. Here it is. And I'm going to mix a little bit of oyster beige and a lot of white. Not have it pure white for the first layer. And then because my brush is so worn out, I can just come in here and start tapping in the cocoa area up to that lip right there. I'm going to tap some across the peppermint and across the front of him right here. I kind of covered up my shadow, but we'll put that back in. And my goodness, I must have black on me somewhere. I got black all over that poor guy. I had to clean him up. Alright, right here, I do want to take my damp brush and keep it off of his arm. This is just our first layer here. Just tapping it in very lightly to those where we're establishing, you know, where the foam is going to go, where the cocoa stuff is, you know, where he's melting into the cocoa, I guess. He's just a melting away. All right, I see a couple places I got to touch up with some, maybe some cocoa mix here. Right here. I know I'm going to be putting some in here, but I'm not sure I'm going to cover up these areas completely with fluff, so I don't want to see too much of that. We do have to shade in there a little bit. Okay, I'm really not sure how I got black on him right there, so get my eraser and try to remove that. Okay, all right, still back to this brush. I'm just going to wipe out the excess in a dry place on my paper towel, and I think I'll get some fresh white out. Where's my white? So that I can have some fresh fluffy stuff on my, around my guy here. So I'm gonna fill my brush with some white, and I'll probably do this a couple of times. So I'm just gonna go in here and tap. I don't have a ton of paint on my brush, and I'm very lightly tapping. It can come over the edge a little bit. If you want it to come up on the edge, that's fine. I wouldn't put it over extremely far because we do have to highlight that edge. So, you know, just a little tap, tap, tap. Find the most worn out small brush that you have. And I'm going to bring this up a little. I don't want it to be like a line, a straight line across here. Let's give it some little flow, you know, or a little more chocolate or a little more fluff here, a little fluff there. Just a worn out old brush here. It's all you need. I'm going to get it off of my peppermint right here. I want the fluff to be beside the peppermint, not on it right there. Okay, I'll put some right here where the peppermint and snowman kind of are. Alright, let's go a little bit more through here. I got to shade on this yet, so we don't have to try and get up to those few bright spots right away. Okay? Alright. Make sure you don't have it on his arms too much. That one's okay. He's kind of a little more down in there with that one. Okay, I'm not going to wash this out because I'm going to use it again here in just a minute. But I want to put a little bit of my shading color in my fluff. And I'm going to mix dark chocolate and cocoa together so it's not quite so dark. Get my cocoa to come out. Oh goodness gracious, can't get any, and then I get way too much. Get a little water because I want this to be thin. Thin, thin, thin. Okay? We're going to put a little bit of this around the edge here. Dark chocolate in the mix, I think. Okay, a little bit back here. I'll give it that chocolate feel. We still got one more layer of white. We're going to go create our flow of stuff here. Keep it nice and thin. A little bit next to our peppermint. Out here on this edge, and then we've got our last layer of fluff stuff to put in there. Okay, where's my fluff? My fluff, fluff, fluff. Okay, just a few. These are really going to stand out now, or they should. And I am going to go a little bit on this edge here, just a little bit. We still got to highlight that edge. Oh, he's looking so cute. He's just chillaxing right there, not realizing he is just melting away. Off my peppermint. Don't want it there. If you can get a little bit in between here, that would be good, but depends on how much gap you have between the arm and the peppermint there. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. Oh, look at that fluff, fluff. I love it. Thank you, Truth. Deco Art Love Color Frosting White would look cool too. It would. And you know, I actually thought about using that on this or some snow text. But, you know, when I got it painted in, I just really loved how that looked. So I just left it, left it with that. But yes, that would definitely look good on here. Okay, I want to highlight the rim here. Maybe a little neater than what I'm doing. Okay, then through here on the rim. And, oh, okay, that was a big old fat blob on there. A little there, a little there. And then I gotta send that little blob right there. That was a blob and a half. I put my brush down too hard, and then I made that really thick little area right there. Okay, so that is looking super cute. Just a little bit of black on there. Just to kind of bring that down a little bit. Doesn't have to be quite so bold and in your face like that. Alright, I do want to straighten up his white over here. I don't know why I keep getting stuff all over him over here, but man. When I shaded, I got it all over him. Oh, that looks so cute. He's so cute. Alright, so I'm going to dry this real quick because I got to put my line drawing on for my holly. Now, this is where you could add the pine needles around it. That would be so cute. Let me find my line drawing here. So we can paint our holly in. You could also, and I did think, because this is a bigger surface here, I did think about putting some extra peppermint sticks laying out here. Okay, tape. Need a piece of tape. Hold this down so I can put my line drawing on. And because this is a bigger surface, I could actually make my holly leaves bigger, but I'm just going to go with the pattern I got here. And put them on real quick, and then we'll get them painted in. And we'll have a little bit of shading to do. He is coming along, so adorable. See that already? Yep. My graphite is coming off much darker than I thought it would. So I've got some really dark holly. I'm not going to put the berries on. You know, berries can go anywhere. I'm not sure I'm going to see this one on here. I might have to, I can see it. If you can't see it on your black, then use your white graphite. I generally list both when I do my packets because you never know which you're going to need in an area. You might need white. So I can see mine there. I'm sure you guys probably can't see it, but alrighty. Okay, I'm gonna put some fresh green out, and we'll get these guys painted in with their green. And they shouldn't take too long. They're not great big. So this would be a good time while I'm putting paint on here. If you have questions, you can ask some questions. You could do a combination of holly leaves and pine needles. that would be super cute, and that holly leaf is horrible. Didn't get that drawn on there very good, so my shape is really, really weird. You know, you can give your holly leaves that little flip at the end. Some people like to paint theirs that way. I just like to paint them in and fix them up. Sometimes I'll do that little curl on them, and sometimes I won't. But they'll go pretty quick. And I may add some, couple extra peppermints to this. I have not decided yet. Because this one is bigger, I just feel like maybe the space over here calls for something else in it. But we'll see how it looks after we get it done and remove the tape. That's going to tell me what it needs. This is just basic color book painting right here. Just filling in your shapes with color. Okay, I'm going to dry that real quick. Look for questions. Let's see. Thank you, Lynn. Linda says, a Santa would look cute also after his hard night. Yeah, that would look really cute. Yes, I like that idea. I expect to see some really cute paintings now. Lots of good ideas. Alright, I'm going to thin my paint a little bit because I don't need it super thick for my second coat. A little bit more water in there. Read my instructions on the holly leaves. I'm sure they're pretty basic like all my other holly leaves, but you never know, sometimes I change it up. I'll get these on here and dry them and then erase back the lines that I didn't paint over. Get those out of the way so they're not distracting us. Okay, just thin your paint down with your second coat because you don't need a thick layer here. Except maybe on top of this black you might. Okay, got them painted on fast. I might have to zoom out a little bit. I have a feeling I'm getting you off camera shot. You have to start yelling at me when I do that because, man, I'm terrible about that. Alrighty. Oh, he looks so cute. I love the background. Adorable. Adorable. Okay, let me erase some of these graphite lines that I didn't cover up. Now, I have in the past painted like on one of these canvas panels, and then I just scanned it into my computer and then printed off my cards, adjusted it to the size that I needed, and then just painted in my cards, or printed off my cards, which made it really easy. Those Christmas lights that I did a couple years, the string of lights, that made a really pretty Christmas card. Okay, we're going to shade with our green mix that we based it in with. Let me spritz my palette with some water because I will need some with this tiny little brush. And use our green and a little bit of black to darken that green. This is also the color that we will make our stems, and we're going to go at the bases of all these leaves. You know, and then create a shadow side if you want a shadow side. I like to do at the bases and then maybe a little bit up one side. It doesn't have to be the entire side. A little bit of black, a little bit of green. These little brushes don't hold a ton of paint, so you have to go back and get paint frequently. So I've got this upside down so I can do the bases of my leaves a little bit easier. A little black, a little green. We're just kind of making almost a black green here. Not quite as dark as a black green. Okay. Keep the paint close on that corner when you're using such a small brush. Don't let the paint get super far over. A little bit of moisture in your brush is going to help tons. I didn't get too fancy on these guys, so don't feel like you have to get super fancy on them, okay? We're going to add the vein in there with the same color. So I'm going to take a little bit of black and a little bit of green and mix it, and then add some water to my mix. Make that dark green and add a vein. And this one actually goes around the cup here. And just get them connected somewhere along with a vein. I don't know where to connect this one, so I'm just gonna bring it through here. And got this one. Didn't connect that very well to that. Let me try that again. There we go, much better. I feel like I should have had a leaf there or something. I feel like I'm missing a leaf. But I'm not putting it back in. I'm not putting another one in. Or I should have made that one bigger. I'm not sure. I feel like I'm missing a leaf. Okay, let's highlight with our bright green here. Bright green. Just a little bit of paint's all you need here. So pretty. All the details. Now you could add some glitter, bling this up a little bit somewhere if you wanted to. Bling up your holly leaves, bling up wherever you want to add some bling. The berries, when we put them on here, they could be all blingy. Super cute. much off camera. Sorry about that. Gotta yell at me, man. Oh, thank you, Lynn. I'm glad you couldn't resist. He is super cute. Such a fun one. Okay. Let me do one more highlight place here. I think this could use a little highlight on that edge. I'm gonna put a little bit of turquoise on here before I do a final bright highlight. So I just picked a few. Let me get some more turquoise on my brush. I just picked a few and put some, you know, kind of carried that color in here. I have to work that into my brush a little bit more. It's not wanting to release. Okay. Just wherever you want to put it, just add a little bit of turquoise. Or you can completely leave it off. You know, it's an optional step. Totally up to you. Yeah, put that turquoise on here. I think that would be so pretty. Stand out on that one a little bit more. Okay. A little bit brighter on here. These first ones I started out, I don't think I had enough paint on my brush. Alright, that is pretty good for that. Alright, final little highlight on these is going to be the bright green and some white mixed together. And this is just going to be in a couple of places. So, like right there. Just pick a spot on a leaf and make it a little bit brighter. That's all we're doing. This is incredibly fast, and don't think about it. Wherever you put your brush down, that's where you're going to put that highlight. This is where I don't want you to think at all. A little bit of green, a little bit of white. And a little bit down here. Okay, hopefully I had you on camera for all that. Alright, let's do some berries on here. Some berries and some shading. Okay, just with our red. I'm just going to dot some berries wherever you want them to be. It's your painting. Your berries can be wherever. I think I'm going to put a couple back there. Okay, that was a ginormous berry. You don't have to do them that big, that's for sure. And I'm probably just going to do this once. I don't think I'm going to do it a second time. However many berries you want. My holly happened to have a lot of berries, so you just that needs a little bit more paint. Go back. Some of these didn't get a ton of paint on them. Okay. Let's take our white with our detail brush and a little dot of white on some of these. You do not have to do every single one of them, so don't feel like you have to put a highlight on all of them. Wherever you want it. Okay. Let me get those a little dry so that we can pull the tape off. Well, actually, we'll shade along the back here first. And then we'll take the tape off. Maybe not. We'll shade around the cap. We'll do all of our shading first. We'll do all of our shading. I want a wide angle out so we can see it. Super cute. So yeah, I feel like my space over here needs something, so maybe a couple of peppermints. You could put a couple of candy corns over here. You could actually put a couple of big marshmallows over here. I don't know. I think it would be cute with something else over there. So I need to shade along the back there with some black. Make sure those are dry because I'm going to be going over them. Kind of push this back a little bit. And here, let's stay off my highlight. And I'm also going to do it a little bit on this side. You don't have to do it on both sides, but I feel like that really is going to set that a little bit better. And over here. Okay, let's do some shading underneath the cup. So we're going to go under the cup for some shadow. And over here, this is where the tape is, so we won't see that, but we'll go along that tape just in case. And then we'll do a little bit around some of our holly. Okay, I did do some of these up here. So this is where you can just judge. Little shadow there. I think I want a little bit of a shadow on that edge of the cup. Okay, a little bit more right here. And we just want some darkness around these leaves a little bit. I think that kind of sets everything, pushes what needs to be pushed to the background. So we are going to get ready to remove our tape here. Oh, I did add the step about the green dots at the very bottom of the instructions, I see. Okay, that's kind of weird. All right, let's get the tape off of this so we can see our beautiful frame on here. Hopefully the tape did its job and kept anything from leaking under it. Oh, got a little leak there. I'll touch up with some white. This is the stickiest washi tape I have ever used. It's so sticky. Even my canvas now feels sticky. It's just a cheap washi tape. I know I won't ever buy that cheap stuff again. Whew, baby, that is sticky, sticky. All right, I'm going to touch up. I'm going to try to touch up. On the edge where it got kind of underneath the tape. With some white. I'm not sure it's doing too well. My pencil line's all the way out there, so I'm going to erase that line. So I'm not going to put paint over it. A little bit here. Alright, now's a good time if you got questions as we're finishing up to let me know what your questions are. What you think. If you're on YouTube, please be sure and like. And oh, that adhesive off of that tape is just, whew, man, that is the strongest washi tape ever. I'm going to have to paint over that line now. Sorry, if you're on YouTube, please be sure and give me a thumbs up and like, comment, and share. And if you're watching any of my other videos, the longer that you watch it, the better for me. That means that YouTube thinks people want to see it, and they'll push it up in their algorithm. So, at least that's what I believe. So, there we go. Isn't he cute? Let me turn my palette cam off here. Oh my gosh, isn't he so cute? I'm going to bring all the colors in here. Let me wide angle out so I can get the others here. So this is the one that we duplicated, only on a bigger surface. Okay, and then we have our green one and our red one. Move them over so you can see them. Oh my gosh, so cute. Doesn't matter what color you paint that cup, that marshmallow man is adorable. He is so adorable. Now, Spa Day you can choose to put on there or not. I put it on this one and I like it on there. So it's an option, but the line drawing for Spa Day is in the packet. So there you go. I love them all. They all have a completely different feel to them. So it really depends on what you're going for on this one, you know, for the color of your cup. If you do paint the green cup on your second coat, you might want to add a little bit of that lighter green that we used for highlighting. Thank you, Truth. Thank you, Veronica. Can't wait to see what I come up with 2025. Me either. I've got some ideas going already, but nothing down in paint, that's for sure. Thank you, Lonna. Really cute little piece. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Cheryl. You too. You have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and New Year. Thank you, Truth. So stinking cute. Can't wait to paint it. Thank you so much, Lonna. You're welcome, Donna, so much. And Sue says, thank you for doing this, little cutie. So many color possibilities. Hope you enjoy a wonderful Christmas and holiday. Thank you, Sue. Same to you. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and New Year. Yes, I think this guy would be super cute in fall colors, the cup in fall colors, with some leaves around him. And he doesn't have to have a peppermint stick in there, but you could do a green peppermint stick or, you know, just some extra pretzels or something in there. I don't know. You could make him super cute for fall, I think, as well. So, all right. Does anybody have any questions? All right, you guys, I'm gonna make myself a little bit bigger here. Merry Christmas, Lonna. It's Lucy. Oh, Lucy, I didn't know that was you. I thought your name came up just a little while ago. That said Lucy at the very beginning. So, well, hi, Lucy. I'll have to remember that. You have a wonderful Christmas too, Lucy. I appreciate it. Okay. You're welcome, Sean. Thank you, Lynn. You have a wonderful Christmas too. I appreciate it. And a great new year. So this is my last live for 2024. I can't believe we're going into 2025 already. I feel like 2024 just started. I mean, what happened to the year? It just zipped by. So it's been crazy. So I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday and new year. And I'll see you sometime after the first of the year. I don't know what I'm doing yet. But I'll come up with something good. And if you have any ideas ever at all, just let me know. Leave it in the comments, message me, whatever, and let me know. Looks like a photo. Wonderful. Thank you, Melina. And Lucy, I changed it a while back on YouTube. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Well, thank you for letting me know it was you. I appreciate that. Okay, you guys, Lucy is sneaky. You're right, Lynn. She's sneaky. You better be watching out for Lucy. She's sneaky. Okay, you guys, I am going to sign off if there's no more questions. I appreciate you guys being here so much. I had such a great time painting this one with you guys. I love, love, love this design. So I hope you guys are going to paint it up. If you don't use it for Christmas cards this year, next year it would be great for Christmas cards. So go ahead and get it painted up so you can scan it into your computer and have it ready to go. Or just paint the cards themselves. That's even better. Okay, I'll see you guys in the new year, you guys. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you so